Dear colleagues, hello from Slovakia. First of all, I would like to thank you organizers for the opportunity to present the results from the Concise project in my country in Slovakia. I will do so very shortly as the time is limited, and I will speak on behalf of my colleagues, members of our research team, Martin Ferro, Lubomir Shotnik, and Lenka Diner. First, I will focus on the results regarding the media coverage, especially about the sources and channels that are mostly used by receiving the science information. This was the very first research done on the topic of science communication in Slovakia. It has significant importance for our national research and is enabling us to do some international comparison. So we can start with our prepared graphs. Looking at the first graph, we can see the proportion of all resources and channels mentioned by our participants during the research. It have been 99 participants of our public consultation held in November last year. The second graph shows us the using of all channels according to our four research topics. So that is the vaccines, climate change, chem, and GMO. Here we can see that is a quite similar situation in the traditional media and digital media according to these four topics. There are not so significant differences. Maybe it is slightly lower using of digital media in the topic of climate change that later in qualitative analysis was confirmed because that is a long time discussing and very stable theme, and people prefer most traditional or serious information basis. For example, institution, if you can see research institution, research organization, and so on. At other side, the vaccine was treated as a more personal theme, and as a channel are prevailing especially the communicators. So that we can move to the third graphs, and we can see the comparison of traditional and digital media by our four themes. Regarding the digital media, as you can see, it absolutely prevails internet in all these themes, following by the social network and other, but with much lower frequencies. Regarding traditional media, there are not so big differences between various traditional media. The winner is television, but as you can see, the magazines and books are also very often mentioned. Maybe that is a typical feature of our social cultural framework in our society confirmed by many other researches that till now the books and magazines are the level of reading is higher than in other countries. It's a typical feature for Slovakia. So looking at the first graph, we can see a very interesting correlation between the reliability of sources and channels and how often these channels are used. Comparing the traditional media and digital media from the point of view of the reliability, or we can say the trust to the information, it's a quite interesting correlation. Digital media are most often used, but with a lower trust. At the other side, the traditional media are less used, but with a higher level of trust to the information. For example, if you can see, there is 2 times more trust to the in the traditional media comparing mistrust. So we can move to the fifth graphs that can confirm these results, as I already mentioned before. That we can see here the traditional and digital media as regarding the trust or reliability of receiving information. As you can see, in all methods and all kinds of digital media, it's prevailing the mistrust or not unreliability of the receiving information. Only in social networks is the same, but it's in all other sources in digital media. On other side, it's a different situation completely in traditional media, because you can see that in all kinds of the traditional media, it's prevailing the trust or reliability of receiving sources. So in the sixth graph, we can see using of traditional and digital media by the age group. The results are not so surprising. It is clear that the younger generation used much more digital media, older generation much more traditional media. But what is interesting maybe is that the differences in traditional media between the generation, it's not so high. So till now, the young people are reading the books, magazines, newspapers, hearing the radio, and so on. So that is information relating to the trust and mistrust, as I already mentioned before. So that we have various different graphs about the traditional and digital media by the gender and education and so on, but I can say there is not significant differences in the using the digital or traditional media in from the point of view of gender or education or locality when they live and so on. So that I stop here, stressing the fact that these are only first information, first results, and we need to go deeper to use the various kind of the qualitative analysis, in-depth analysis for for receiving the concrete and much more better picture in this field of science communication in my country. Thank you so much for your attention. Bye.